Hey everybody. Hang on one second. There we go. That's better. Today is going to be a really easy day. I'm just going to merge the code that I've been doing for the camera stuff back into the main branch. Um, this is kind of I'm going to basically do what even for the simplest thing in a lot of places takes like a whole week to do. But I'm just going to do it here in a few minutes just because I can do all the things back to back. But generally what you want to do is, you're going to do you're going to push your code up to to wherever your repo goes. In this case, it's GitHub. So I'm going to just do a git status. So I'm good. I'm going to say git push. And so this may or may not happen. So what happened is I made my what I'm going to do. I'm going to and expand this. And the problem is that my okay, yeah, I think you can see everything. But so when I did my git push, I got this error. I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Oh yeah, I can zoom in. Actually, today somebody said, "Hey, what's your font on your VS Code?" So I think that's kind of just a nice way of saying maybe you should make the font bigger. I don't know, but I'm actually starting to get lots of comments on my channel, which is pretty cool. But anyway, see, it says git push set upstream origin camera interface unification. You may or may not have this issue at wherever you work, just depending on what your process is. Some places you have a process where you create a branch locally and then you push it up. But most places have you make the branch through wherever your whatever system you guys are using. So like where I'm working right now, we use Azure, and so in Azure we create branches and then we pull them down. But in some places you create your own branch locally, and when you do that, you'll get this error when you go to push. You'll say git push set upstream origin camera interface unification. So, and normally in most places, what'll happen is you'll have like some kind of number, like a bug number or ticket number, and you're going to want to, that will be in your branch number, so you don't really have a big risk of having a duplicate branch with somebody else. But, anyways, so all you do is copy and paste that command, push it in, and what's going to happen is it's actually going to push this branch out to GitHub. So, and it's actually taking a little while. Um, Something will eventually come back. Um, and then when that happens, you'll want to go to your browser. And so, oh, SSL in what? Let me hit Control minus so I can read this whole thing. In connection. Hmm. I've never seen that happen before. Let's try it again. Maybe there's just a glitch. Yeah, it was just a glitch. Um, so the second time we got a nice positive response. So that's good. So now we'll go to our browser and I'll just expand this to 100% so you can see everything. Go over here. And I'm just going to go to github.com. And I think they recently started adding like to forcing to things like you where you have to like answer your text, but maybe not. Okay, so this is cool. This is a time saver. It says, "Hey, you just pushed that out. Do you want to compare and pull requests?" And if you hit this green button, you'll get that. So what happens is, okay, so you can write like a title, and most places have some sort of template that they want you to put their titles in, and then a description. Which, if they don't have a template, then typically you just copy and paste the title into the description. And then you have some choices. If you do this, you can create a draft pull request, which a draft pull request is pretty nice because it gives you the opportunity to sort of review all the files without bothering anybody. Or you can create a full pull request. And so when you push this button to create a full pull request, generally people will get emails, or you may have to email them letting them know. And normally you put like the people, you click this button and you put like the people that you want to review it. Um, and then, but before you get done, what you're going to want to do is just look at this file changed tab, and what you can do is you can see all the changes you made. So like I changed this. I don't really care. I just like to have something in there. Um, I have other projects where I have like every command that I've ever run. Um, so you can see that I deleted stuff from this line, and I went from that, which that makes sense. And you just kind of go through everything and just make sure that there's no stray console logs, things like that in there, um, and that it just makes sense. So I created a camera service. It created a spec file for me. It created. I created a new service file. This is a good place to sort of look and you're just looking for anything that stands out. Um, and then like a lot of places they won't want these uh, stray lines, or they may want lines after things or before things. So just kind of looking for that. But usually places like that have something called a linter that will check all that stuff for you. Um, and if they have a linter and they still complain about like formatting issues, then you guys have problems. And there are a lot of places like that where you just have people that like they want to contribute, but they don't really have any good way of contributing. Um, they So they just kind of focus on like white space and all these things should be on the next line or whatever. But anyways, I'm just like kind of glancing over everything, just making sure that nothing obvious is broken. So yeah, you just don't want to go request a PR, a pull request when there's some obvious stuff that just needs to be done. So so yeah, that's done. So I think I can go back to this conversation tab, and it is slightly different in a lot of places. And I could, you know, I okay. So this would be the point where you are waiting. Okay, you're just gonna wait. You're gonna wait for. You're gonna let some people know, and then in your stand up tomorrow, you'll mention that you have a pull request out and it's waiting for reviews. Um, you know, um, and then you know and you may have to do that for 2 or 3 or 4 days before some people get time to review. And sometimes they have roles like, oh, one architect and 3 developers and one QA person has to sign off or something like that. So in your daily stand-ups, you're just going to mention how it's come along, and that will give your scrum master something to do. He can bug people about your pull request. It's probably the best thing about stand-up. But I am actually just going to merge it. So what would happen is people would make comments, and then you would address the comments. So when someone is reviewing it, they would come in to this file changed, and then they may click and say, um, they might click on this. How do you do that here? I don't think I've ever done this. Let's see. Comment on this file. So I guess with this, let's see. There we go. So you can make a comment and you say, hey, I don't like this. I don't like this. Now, I think it's kind of a bummer because it's hard to, it's very difficult in pull requests to differentiate between like a question or a very polite demand. Like sometimes they're demanding that you make a change, and then sometimes they're like actually asking, like, "Oh, why did you do this?" Or "Why can't this be? Why can't this be cameras?" Right, and that might be their subtle way of saying change it to cameras. And then the big question is like, oh, did you want the camera's surface to be called cameras instead of, or did you just want it in this file? Like, what do you actually want? So, PRs are kind of bad way. I wish there was like a way to kind of mark, oh, this is a question. And then in some places, you mark your own. This is one of the strangest things when you first started a new place. You mark your own, like when they make a request, like let's say they said, uh, you know, make this a string or a number. And then like let's say you make the change or you make a response saying no, that can only be a number or something like that. Some places you resolve that yourself, and then some places they expect you to make the change and then the person resolves it, or you give an answer and you resolve it yourself, or sometimes you give an answer and the person who created it resolves it. That, and what's really bizarre is like every place thinks that the way they do it is obvious. They all do. They all think it's obvious. But anyways, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm just going to go back over here and I'm just going to say merge it. I'm going to confirm it. And now that is in mine. Now, most places will want you to delete this branch, and I think I should delete it. I have the branch locally, um, so why keep it around? But I have, because I have like 40 branches or something on this here now, and that's kind of a bummer. Um, so I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I have 21 branches that I need to delete because I didn't hit that delete button, and they're all local on my machine. Um, and that is that. I wish I know that there's some tools that will show like the history, and there's a way to do that here. And the way I did my merge um, would show interesting things. But anyways, that is that. Tomorrow I'm going to go back to working on, or we're going to start working on the. Let's go back to this thing. Um, Working on lights. And the whole idea is to get a spotlight into the system. And then I believe there's already a lights service. So kind of just do another glance through and do a lights service. So, anyways, happy coding, everybody. Um, Bye.